going on, guys? How you feeling? How you doing? My name is Elisha.
I'm Eli, and welcome to the first ever episode of the E2E Show. Eli to Elisha, Elisha to Eli, coast to coast, whatever it is, end to end. But I am very excited to be here. Elisha, how are you doing, my man?
Yo, I'm doing so good. I'm excited. You guys have no idea, first of all, what it takes to set up something like this. It's been so much back and forth, so much planning behind it, but we're finally here. Shout out to Emmett for producing the show too. We appreciate you. We're going to get into it, guys. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk life. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Let's do this. Get on the ride. Embark on this journey with us because this is going to be a fun one, a good one. Let's do it, man.
Well, I mean, what better way to start than today's holiday, Valentine's Day? And I'm just wondering, Elisha, do you have a Valentine out there?
Listen, I'm not wearing this pink for no reason. This was intentional. Actually, this wasn't intentional. I just realized once you said Valentine's Day that I'm wearing pink. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I do have a lot. I do have a Valentine. Okay, for the people. I mean, I have a girlfriend and she's my Valentine. So, yeah, it's been long overdue. I've been through it, guys, and I know a lot of you can relate out there. Eli, I can't wait to hear what your Valentine story is. But for all of you boys out there, boys and girls who've been through it, who've been, had some pretty crappy Valentine's days, I feel you, and it does get better. Okay, I'm living proof of that. But how's your Valentine gonna go, man? Let me hear it. Lay it on me.
Well, first of all, I'm still waiting for the Elisha girlfriend reveal post on Instagram. Whenever that's coming, I don't want to rush it, but if it's, if that's something in the works, it's something that I definitely wish I could do right now. But actually, the Valentine's Day this year, it's a little traumatic for me.
Oh boy.
Because actually, last year I was supposed to have a Valentine, right? I was in a relationship at the time. And actually, the relationship ended the day before Valentine's Day. After I had dropped $400 on everything to make the perfect romantic night for Valentine's Day. I'm talking hotel room. I'm talking rose petals. I'm talking chocolates. So it all dropped right before that. And I spent Valentine's Day last year by myself in the hotel room. I ate all the chocolate. And I, enjoyed the rose petals. I don't care about roses, but I got rose petals. And so that's Valentine's Day. So like, this is like the 1 year anniversary of that event. So I'm just like, if there's any loners out there, fellow loners, we could be each other's Valentines this year. I'm pulling one for the boys this year. Life happens sometimes, but we are all here together. We are all here fighting for our love. And I'm not one of those guys that's like, look down to F, I'm not like one of those guys. I just want someone to cuddle with, that's just the vibe. That's just
no. Come on, it's cuffing season. No, I'm not laughing at your pain. It's just the fact that you're like, yo, you still, I appreciate your dedication to the plan, because you're like, yo, this kind of fell through. I'm going to stay in the hotel room. I'm going to make the best of it. And I'm a big believer in that, guys. I'm a big believer. And I say this about in football too. It's just like, yo, go through it. Go through it, stick it out, whatever it is. Like, don't just, it's never over. This saying, in this game, it's never over until the final whistle blows. Exactly. So it's like, hey, see it through. You saw it through. I commend you for not for making something out of it. Next time, hopefully this doesn't happen again. But if you ever have some extra rose petals, listen, I love flowers. I could use some rose petals. So in any case, your boy got you. So
no, I got you. I didn't know till afterwards that the hotel reservation was refundable. So I thought I literally had to go because I had already paid for it. So like, that's really why I died on the hill. But I do agree, always die on the hill. Fight for what you believe in and go for it. But had I known it was refundable, I don't know if that night would have changed. By the way, with the rose petal thing, it wasn't just that I had them delivered and spread out around the room before I got there, as like a welcome to this setting.
Ladies,
I'm a
Ladies,
romantic. I'm a romantic. What can I say?
my boy out here, come on. Listen, I'm putting all my chips out for Eli. Yo, I'm vouching for, because listen, dudes our age don't do this a lot anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, they're just like, yo, you meet somebody on Tinder, whatever. It's like, yo, let's link, pull up, da da da. They don't put in all that work. Eli's old school. I like that.
I'm a
I
simp.
like
What
that.
can I say? I am a simp, and I will stand by that, because I don't think calling someone a simp is a bad thing at all. I think
Absolutely.
it's a gentleman thing.
Yeah. Now for sure. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about something or someone and going all out for them. That's not being called a simp. When you're a pushover and you go over your own morals and your own character to please someone, something like that, that's when, we kind of draw the line. But being able to show your love and your affection for someone without no pullback, that's W. That's P. That's all
Also,
it is.
if you're ever gonna dump someone, don't do it the day before like a big relationship holiday, whether it's an anniversary or a Valentine's Day, because assuming the other person is a good partner, that they probably have something planned. So either do it well in advance, or don't do it after. Do it well in advance. Don't make me pay for a hotel room. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm Eli. That's been my TED talk.
yo, thank you, Eli. We appreciate you opening up and just know this is gonna help a lot of people. Okay, this is hey, that's what we're here for. Our trauma is used to heal you guys listening and watching this. So thank you, Eli, for your courage. We appreciate it. But
You're welcome.
with that being said, now let's get into the football, guys. We gotta get into the football, the soccer, the calcio, and football. And let's start this off with some AFCON news. First of all, congratulations, big congratulations to Senegal, African champions. Okay,
First
and I
time
want
ever,
to
right?
first time ever. First time ever. First of all, they got into the final last time against Algeria, missed out. And it's crazy. There's so many different parts to this because of course, Sadio Mane getting his first, international trophy, which is huge. He's done so much for Liverpool already. The coach, Cisse, he was the youngest international coach in the last World Cup and the least paid, and he's been coaching Senegal for 8 years.
Wow.
And finally, they trusted him, they trusted in his vision, and finally he made it happen. And honestly, I think, and I want your take on like kind of the rest of the world and how they're looking into the World Cup. But watching this African Cup of Nations, Senegal, um, Cameroon, Egypt, I'm looking at these teams, especially Senegal, of course, like, yo, they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with for the World Cup. Like, these African teams are no joke. I'm happy that they're getting their proper respect in the mainstream. I'm happy that the actual teams are playing so much better. But yeah, like what do you think, in that sense, since we've seen so much of the international success being from the European teams in, lately?
Well, I'm definitely pulling for kind of the underdogs, but I don't think like teams like Senegal should be considered an underdog because they just won this major tournament. They know now what
Yeah.
it's like to go all the way. So I can't consider them an underdog compared to some of the European nations that like barely got in. But there is
Yeah.
that European bias, and it sucks because like I personally love the South American region. I love watching their qualifiers, even though so many of those teams make it. But I just love like the fans and how they like embrace their countries.
Yeah.
And I obviously watch a lot of CONCACAF because of the US, Canada. That's my team I'm rooting for. Like I really want to see Canada do well. And like I feel that same vibe
Yeah.
with like the AFCON teams. This is actually the first AFCON I watched. And honestly, a lot
There you
because
go.
of you
There
and
you
your
go.
promotion. Just I just never had like with AFCON, I don't have a country to root for there. And I wanted to learn more about it. I just never had a reason to before, but I thought it was very
Yeah.
fun to tune in. And that final was awesome. The PK
Yeah.
save in the first couple minutes, all the way to the penalty shootout, Sadio Mane burying that penalty. So much fun.
Yes,
And I
sir.
would definitely root for a team like Senegal to make it very far into this tournament. So yeah, I'm all for it. And, like this being my first AFCON experience, really watching and paying attention to it, like I'm definitely tuning in next time, like for sure.
No, and that's exactly what, and I'm happy that you brought up, the fact that, there's a lot of people who don't have a team to root for, or just necessarily they never had like kind of an incentive or motivation to watch it, because just like women's football, it's not broadcasted as much. Sometimes there's some networks where they would play the games 12 hours after, and say that it's live, but play like 12 hours after the match actually happened. Some of them, they just completely disregard it. So it's like, it's just this year I felt like, especially from a lot of media outlets, I'll give a straight up shout out to Bleacher Report for really like pushing it out there and constantly, keeping people up to date with what's going on. Because like they need that. They deserve that. The continent is full of amazing talent, and the reception from it, how the clubs reacted to their players coming back, just everything about it this year was just a step up, and I'm just happy that it's getting its due diligence, and I hope that the next one is, even bigger. But yeah, and I definitely, to your point on Canada, Canada with Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David, bro, they have, shout out Mark Anthony K, man. They have,
I love Mark
come
Anthony.
on, they have a strong team, and I think those are definitely, I can say they're underdogs, but with kind of the right mindset going into the World Cup, bro, I think they could be dangerous.
No, definitely. And like they just have a lot of guys that they're easy to root for, like the Tajon
Yeah,
Buchanans, all those guys. And like Canada, they don't make the World Cup often. So it's great to see them dominating so much in CONCACAF right now. And like
yeah,
as of right now, they are the first, like they are the top of the table in terms of
yeah,
CONCACAF qualifying, and deservedly so. And I'd say like Alfonso Davies is definitely the best player in the CONCACAF region right now. And I don't think you could
yeah.
dispute that at all. But yeah, like speaking of, a lot of guys to root for in Canada, obviously I'm a big MLS guy and there's a lot of MLS players there. And this week in MLS, plug for my name, but this week in MLS was pretty
I
great.
like that. I like that.
Yeah, two big signings, players that
Mm-hmm.
are very familiar to anyone who is a football fan. Douglas Costa to the LA Galaxy and Xherdan Shaqiri
Baller,
to the
baller.
Chicago Fire. So Elisha, I got to ask you, as someone who doesn't like fully, you're still getting into MLS, just like what is
Mm-hmm.
your like reaction to seeing MLS clubs sign a Douglas Costa and a Shaqiri?
So, in a sense, for Shaqiri, I'm definitely excited to have him in the league. I think that he's one of those players where, again, for MLS, there's been this kind of dark cloud of retirement league or whatever hanging over it, and I think that there's a lot of signings over the past definitely like 2 years that haven't been that,
Yeah.
just older players coming into the league. So I like that. And I think Shaqiri fits right into that. Strong, strong player, definitely isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm happy that, they were able to pull him. Douglas Costa, listen, I love him. I really do. And I think on paper, he's a baller. You know what? Not just on paper. He's a baller, period. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But the injuries have been killing him, bro, over the years. So it's just like, for me, it's like I don't know what the intention is, knowing that he's so injury prone. Like, what is it then, just because of his name? Like, what is it, that they're getting him? So for me, it's like, yo, what's the plan to use him? Can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, he's gonna go crazy. And it will be dope in the long run to see if he can make a return into the Brazilian national team playing for an MLS team, bro. That would be great. But right now I'm kind of skeptical, because as much of a baller as he is, I don't know if how long that can last consistently.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the Shaqiri one, because the Chicago Fire are a team that desperately needed a player like Shaqiri, because
Yeah.
this is a team that's changed owners recently. They've had two different rebrands in the last 5 years, because the last one
Yeah.
was so terrible. They're like, oh, we got to scrap it and do a new one. And they just moved to Soldier Field in the center of Chicago. And
Yeah.
watching a home match for the Chicago Fire was dreadful. There was like 5 people in the crowd. It's depressing. I've been to so many sports stores in Chicago's, never seen a piece of Chicago Fire merch, and that's a real sports city. So they needed a guy like Shaqiri to pull in the casual soccer fans. I love it for them. He'll be the face of the team for the next couple of years. And also about the retirement league thing. I hate how people like get angry about the retirement league because, you know, from an MLS fan perspective, you can't say you wouldn't want to see a guy like Shaqiri play for your MLS club. You know, like if you have the opportunity to bring in that player, regardless of where they're at in their career, you're not going to say, like, I don't understand why people would say no to signing a player like that. Because it is fun to see those guys. On the Douglas Costa thing, the Galaxy have a history of signing players like Douglas Costa because they're the most well-known team globally from MLS.
For sure.
And with those big name signings, they've really been hit or miss. And even with guys that do have injury problems that they brought in, there's success stories like Robbie Keane, who was at the end of his time with Tottenham. And he was considered washed at the time, but then he became just an MLS legend. But on the other side, and also Zlatan, he had just come off his big knee
for sure
before signing with the Galaxy. I mean, Zlatan, so you can't really like compare him to Douglas Costa. But then
Zlatan.
Other side of it, you know, the Galaxy brought in Steven Gerrard in the same type of move. Really bad signing for the team. Gio Dos Santos, who is the Mexican international, who has been who was in his prime at the time. He was just completely he did not care. And I think with Douglas Costa, Emmett saying in the chat, Shaqiri is 30, Costa 31. They're not even that old. But the thing is with Douglas Costa is he going to be motivated enough to really play his best? You know, not just the injuries, but a motivation thing was a concern with him when he was in Grêmio in Brazil, and that team just got relegated. But, you know, he is pairing up with a guy like Chicharito, who's a pretty well-known name here in CONCACAF. And I think there's really good potential there, but Costa's got to really want it. And if he does, I don't think there's many players in MLS better than him. And I am saying this cautiously optimistic as a Galaxy fan, putting myself out there. I am a Galaxy guy. So I'm hoping for the best here for Costa.
But I also think and I interviewed Pato few months ago, and I think that if he, as just an ex-Brazilian national and the Brazilian player, like if he can link up with Pato somehow and kind of get, you know, his just have kind of that conversation of like getting your mind ready for playing in MLS. I think that it's a great place to, and that's the sense I got from Pato is like, yo, this is a fresh start. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm in a good place. I still love the game and I want to play at a high level. I want to be competitive. And I think that after all the turmoil and the back and forth that's happened in Douglas Costa's career, if he can have a guy like Pato in his ear, like, yo, this is a great opportunity for you as a footballer to kind of, you know, have that. It's a breath of fresh air. You know, coming here and really showing the fans that, yo, I'm not, don't write me off. Don't count me out. Like, I'm still here to play and I can do it, you know, at a high level. So I definitely think I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well. But only time will tell, man.
No, definitely.
Let's get into, actually, I really wanted to get into some of those, because again, you are a Galaxy fan, so I know you had to put in that Douglas Costa in there, but Adama Traore, Aubameyang going into Barcelona. I'm a Barca fan for you guys who don't know, but Barca's back. I'm gonna say it right now, and I don't care who disagrees. Barcelona is back. And that's it. Adama Traore coming back. First of all, this dude is a tank. Okay? You see his arms. His arms are bigger than my head, and I have a huge head. That says a lot. Aubameyang at this peak right now for Arsenal coming into Barcelona. I just think that we're making the right moves. A lot of people are like, yo, you're crazy, Elisha. You're getting ahead of yourself. I don't care. I'm speaking it into existence. If I have to, I'll blindly say this. We are back. And I'm happy with the Ferran Torres also. That's been a good transfer. I'm kind of upset at the way the whole Ousmane Dembele saga transpired. So that's kind of the only dark cloud that I feel about this transfer window. Now, speaking of, so I'm super hype about Barcelona right now, but Dembele, what do you think? Do you think, just look at this from an objective point of view? Dembele has had problems, lateness with his diet, things like that with Barcelona. So he's kind of he hasn't been on their best side, in the front office. Mm-hmm. Now they're giving him that chance again. This is still Barcelona. This is one of the strictest clubs with the strictest club cultures possibly in the world. They're still saying, yo, if you keep it tight, if you do what you have to do, we still want you here. We still want you to play. There's problems with the agent. They're asking, maybe it's the fees that they're asking for, but Barcelona want him to renew. They haven't been able to reach an agreement. And so Barcelona says, cool, since you say you want to leave, or, you're not agreeing to our terms, for the 6 months that your contract has left, you're not going to play at all. Do you think that's the right way to handle this? Or is it just like, should the teams be sincere in the fact that players can, choose not to play for them anymore at the end of their contract? And that's okay. It's business at the end of the day. What do you think about them saying, we're not going to play, no matter what, we're not going to play for the rest of your contract because you don't want to renew with us?
I mean, to be fair, I actually am fine with that from a club perspective, just because, especially with Barca, a team that's like really trying to rebuild from the loss of Messi still, yeah. Like they got to look forward. And if they know a player is not coming back and Dembele's not even bringing much to the team right now, obviously with everything that's going on, like why keep him around right now, especially when you bring in Traore and Torres, who literally play the same exact position as him, He'd have to still beat them out for a starting spot if he wanted to play. And I'm actually kind of fine with it. It's kind of a tough situation. Maybe if I were a player and I was motivated and really wanted to finish it out and maybe, up my next contract, which I think Dembele honestly should be doing right now, is, trying to play for a bigger contract with your next club, because it seems like Dembele's not coming back, and that's fine with me personally. Yeah. One thing I do want to mention about the Aubameyang Traore, I mean, I know who everyone is going to be using in FIFA now, because any pace guy is going to be all over that. But no, I'm personally fine with Dembele kind of not being a part of the squad, especially when this club is really trying to rebuild for the future and, make sure their next season isn't as disastrous as some of their more recent ones have been.
No. Yeah, and it's been a conversation that I've had with a lot of people in terms of, I think that sometimes fans, we get like, especially on the fan side, we get very possessive and we get a bit hypocritical when it comes to the business of football. Like we want this player to do this, to do that, to put their body on the line, to go all out for us. As soon as, and again, if a player feels like they've given everything they possibly can and they want something else, everyone turns against them. The fans completely trash them. And, that happened with Dimitri Payet when he was leaving West Ham. And it was just like at the end of the day, as humans, we have to be able to, in some degree, to separate like the personal passion for the game and realize that these are still human beings. And this is still, in a way, their jobs, in a big way, their jobs and their careers. And they have every right to do what they feel like is best for themselves. Dembele is not necessarily the best example for that, because he's screwed up a whole bunch of things that honestly he should have just been a little more disciplined on. But generally, I do think the teams and the fans, the teams are more, they're handling the business. So I can't so much expect that from them. They're gonna do what's best for themselves. But I'd ask the fans, y'all be a little bit more sympathetic and understanding when a player wants to go. One, it's a tough transition, especially if you're going from one country to the next. So if somebody really is doing that move, it's probably really what they think is best for them, and we should be accepting of that.
Yeah, and you could dislike a player maybe like Dembele, but don't be sending him hate, like we don't know the full story of what's going on, and we don't know, maybe he is like the good guy here and the Barcelona board has just been really terrible to him and that's why he's doing what he's done and stuff like that. Like, we don't know the full story. Don't send Dembele hate. He, out of all the footballers in the world, doesn't like deserve hate, There's other guys, maybe someone we're about to talk to, that might deserve a little bit more hate. And do you want to get into that right now? Like,
Lay it up for him. Lay it up for him, Eli. Let him hear it.
the boy Zouma doesn't like cats. As you can say, and as a cat person myself, you know,
Let's get into it. You know what? This is a
yeah,
great dynamic. I am a cat person,
me
but
too.
yes, I want to. Give us the overarching full Eli rundown on the Zouma situation and how you feel about it.
Yeah, so one thing that really stood out to me here, obviously, I watched the videos. They're disgusting. They're terrible, and I hated that. And the one thing that kind of bothered me was the fact that like David Moyes played him literally like the next day, like after all of this stuff was released. Like I feel like, especially because he got like the fine, like he 2 weeks no pay. I think he should have had 2 weeks no play as well, and then maybe reassess and evaluate whatever. I because it's not a human, and like I don't know if this is like a bad thing for me to say, like I don't think he deserved to be banned from the club, you know but like he definitely needs like some sort of like animal therapy and all that. Like I think at the end of the day, a lot of the things that happen are like this are due to a lack of education on the topic, and I think it's important that players are taught like how to properly treat a pet before getting a pet, because a lot of these soccer players, their whole careers, they're all in these soccer environments. Some of them live in academies and stuff, so they don't really have real lives in a way. And I'm not sympathizing for anyone that's like done domestic abuse or anything. That's a whole different topic. But like just being a cat person, seeing those videos, like I'm obviously not gonna like Zouma after this, like at all. Like I'm always gonna like think of the cat thing. But like, is there anything I said that you want to like talk about there? Like,
My idea on the whole Zuma thing is this. One, especially as a young black man, I see that the football world seems to care more about how cats are treated than black people. I think there's been more outrage on this cat than there has about, some players maybe getting um verbally abused, or just the racial issues that have been striking society for God knows how long, centuries. And I just think that the football world hasn't done as well a job as protecting its black players or coaches as well as they've done with this whole cat situation. Be that as it may, I'm not condoning anything that he did. I don't think it was right at all. I'm not just I used to be just a cat person because I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, I was scared of dogs. I'll
same,
admit this right now. But
same.
I they grew on me, and now I love animals. I'm a firm believer in anything that exists on this planet is there for a reason, and it should not be mistreated. Animals aren't less important than humans are. And yeah, I don't agree with what he did at all. But I think that also it's I'm a little iffy on the whole him getting fined or anything. I think that, or not playing, because I don't see a direct correlation between those actions and his job,
That's
you
fair.
know? So for me, it's like the him not being able to make money or play or anything, I think is a little, is not as relate, because there's no direct correlation. That's kind of his personal life. If that's gonna be affected in a legal way, I think it should be treated in a legal way and
Mhm.
not in terms of the job.
One thing that I did read that I'm not sure is like 100% true, but I'm pretty sure his salary for those 2 weeks is actually going to cat charities. Um,
So, okay, I was gonna get to that. So
oh, yeah.
I made this post. I don't know if you saw it, about kind of what possible um punishment for Zuma could be after this. And I'm big on hashtag cancel culture. I think we're living in a time where no one's allowed to be human. No one's allowed to make mistakes. No one's allowed to just to apologize anymore. It's like you make a mistake, you're done. You should lose your livelihood. You should lose everything, and you're just castrated. And I don't think, um, again, that's our criminal justice system does that very well, of kind of putting people away. And not prison is like, it's not rehabilitation, it's just a punishment for this specific amount of time. If you get a sentence where you can get out, you'll get out. But then again, life is that much more harder when you get out. So it's like I'm big on forgiveness. But I'm even bigger on education. If somebody does something that's wrong or that you feel like, and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite on different subjects. I think I can be objective on it. If somebody does something that's screwed up and they're genuinely remorseful about it, you should give them the opportunity to, or you should take this opportunity to educate them. Hey, have Zouma talk to the RSPCA people, like have him talk to different organizations, the animal protection services or something like that, charities. Have him take those wages, and if you're gonna find him, donate it to these companies or those organizations. But even more so, Zuma is an internationally known footballer. Every footballer that has, any sort of global reach also has influence. Influence is so important. How many young boys and girls can Zuma talk to, or can Zuma's words reach and really have an impact on? How many people that if you have him talk to academy players, if you have him go throughout these schools, instead of if you're gonna give him community service hours, have him spend those time talking to people about why what he did was wrong and how they can learn from his mistakes. And even genuinely, 'cause we're not stupid, we know Zuma may or may not even care after all of this about cats at all. Cool, he's an adult, but his words can impact the next generation coming up. So even if he learns nothing from it, if his words can help someone else or a whole bunch of other kids growing up to learn from that, they should take that opportunity. It's a learning lesson. But I think just them saying he should be kicked off the team, he should lose everything. Adidas stopping his sponsorship. Adidas had an opportunity also. That's a campaign.
Yeah.
That's a campaign with Zuma and a partnership with, PETA or something, but they instead chose, let's just cut it all off, which I think, again, it's their business. They're allowed to do that, but it's a missed opportunity to help, solve a bigger issue. Either way, again, what he did was wrong, and he's a man, and you're supposed to just take accountability and take whatever consequences come with that. And that's what's happening.
Agreed. And yeah, I think we agree here. I'm actually fine with the fine, and I like that it's going to the cat charities. I think that's a statement. But then I do need some sort of like apology thing in a way that we could just move on from. Like, this is not something that I think should like ruin his life for, like he should have the opportunity to learn from this mistake, because this is a mistake I do think you could come back from pretty easily. Like, I don't think it requires that much effort from Zouma in a way. Just attend a couple like lectures or something about animal treatment and, speak about what you learned, and that's it. Like, this isn't like putting, well, I can't say, because I don't want to like compare humans and cats, because they're still lives at the end of the day. But this isn't like a domestic abuse case, which has also happened recently in the football world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. On a lighter note, Champions League.
Yes, Champions League is coming up, and listen, and there's so much I want to get into this. But on just a brief note, one, I'm super excited for the Champions League to be coming back. I think the matchups are great. We got PSG, Real Madrid. I think, to be honest, and this is also because we're gonna get into the sports betting thing, but I think that we're gonna see a lot of upsets. I think Man City is in for an upset. I think
Ooh.
Bayern is on a shaky note, especially after that loss they just got handed over. What was it? 4-1, 4-2 over the weekend. I think that is gonna be an interesting one, and going into the second leg is gonna be very entertaining. But yeah, predictions. We got to get into some predictions, man, for this Champions League round of 16. What do you think? Where's your heart at right now?
Should I just go through all 8 of the coming up?
Let's get it.
Okay. PSG, Real Madrid. This one's tough for me. because I do think the clubs are like both like very similar, like just levels of play. But honestly, like I might have to go with Madrid here. And I don't know if that's what you want to hear. Messi's just not been it for right now. And it's really hard to see. And I'm also going to mention Ronaldo in a bit with Atletico United, but like, their decline recently it's just been very, very sad and depressing to watch. I think Madrid is a club that's maybe more together. I don't know. That's why I'm going with Madrid.
Especially without Neymar and him being injured right now. I think, that definitely doesn't put PSG in the best position. Realistically, I think that realistically, Madrid should win this. But yeah,
I'm rooting
I got
for
some money on
PSG.
PSG though. Yeah.
I'm rooting for PSG because
Yeah.
although I'm not a Barca fan, I always liked them in the El Clasico more than Madrid.
We're gonna change that, Eli. We're gonna change that.
No, I always like Barca more. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. We right here.
Yeah.
We right here.
Yeah.
I got
Because
you.
I was always
I
Messi
got you.
versus Ronaldo,
Yeah.
even though I'm wearing a United kit. I always liked Messi more. That's just life, that's how it should be. City, I might get canceled for that. Oh, but City versus Sporting, it's tough because I don't like City at all, but I know that like their second team could win the Champions League as well. You mean like this team is just so deep, and they're already running away with the Prem this year, so there's less pressure on them in league, so they could kind of focus more on this. I know you said upset alert, but like I can't not put City, and I might say City goes all the way, and I don't want to say that.
I don't think so at all. I just don't. I don't think their time for winning a Champions League is like. I think their time for winning Champions League is gone. Not with this team. Maybe in a few years or something. If they just, I just don't think this team is gonna win it. If they didn't win it in 2020, 2021, I don't see how it's gonna happen now.
That's fair. They've had their
Chelsea.
Chance. They should have beaten Chelsea. And
so
yeah,
I just think that, but I really feel like this is just Champions League magic moment. It's something in the air. I feel it. I feel Sporting is gonna do something crazy. So I'm hoping for that because I'm a self-proclaimed football prophet. Sometimes I've had some crazy predictions in the past that did come true. So let's see. But I feel like there's something different in the air. And same thing with Salzburg and Bayern.
I'm picking Salzburg because Brendan Aronson,
yes, sir,
the USMNT legend himself, the youngster, he is gonna score
already.
He's honestly, I think he's more important to the U.S. national team than Pulisic is right now, just because he plays better for them. And I know that's a very hot take, but like Pulisic has not really contributed that much to the USMNT. Yeah. Like he's obviously the face of the operation, but he's not like the guy really doing it. He scored a couple big PKs, but like anyone could, like not anyone, but like a Brendan Aronson, I'd say if he's put in the same position, he's also making that PK. Pulisic hasn't done much else aside from that. I say this is my upset of the round. I say RB Salzburg shocks the world for Austria, defeating the German giants. Little World War II action over here. I'm going to Austria. But Inter Liverpool,
I second that.
Yeah, Inter Liverpool. This one's kind of hard because obviously Liverpool, great, but like Mane, Salah, they're just coming back from AFCON. I don't know if are they back? Like, are they like
they're back? Okay, straight up. Like, there's like, I guess Klopp is just like, yo, you guys, there's no rest, no nothing. It's just straight back to playing, which to me is like, damn, like this was a lengthy tournament, especially for Salah. Egypt went into extra time, what, four times during that tournament? So
crazy.
It's I don't think that would be fair or the best decision to play them right now, but
because I think Inter has a great shot here. I don't know if I would choose them to beat Liverpool, but I think Inter will give them a great run for their money. Chelsea, Lille, honestly, Chelsea just coming off the Club World Cup. This could be an upset too. We talked about the boy Jonathan David and crew. This is a team coming off winning the French league, And I think they're hungry for this one. You know, they won the French league. Now it's time to win the Champions League. Not saying they'll go all the way, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling some type of way about Lille, and I think that they could be an upset as well.
Listen, man, Lille is not Palmeiras. That's all I'm saying. Chelsea, y'all gotta be ready for some tough football. Also we have Villarreal versus Juventus. I'm going with Juventus straight up with that one. Yeah, I think that no upset on my side for that.
No, but like, you know, Villarreal, they won Europa last year, but like, come on, that was the worst PK shootout of all time. You know, Juve, it's Juve at the end of the day. Like they're at least making the round, like the next round, you know, round of 16.
Absolutely.
They always make it past that. Atletico United, and I say this as a United guy wearing my United jersey, they have no chance of getting past Atletico. This team is in absolute shambles. You can't even beat Southampton. Like
United, you guys suck right now. You suck so
I hate
much.
to say it. Like, obviously, I like this team. I love this team. I'm happy to see Jadon Sancho finally getting into his groove because he's someone, you know, we talk about the black players receiving hate. You know, I felt like that really affected him from what happened in the Euros. And I think, you know, like it took him a while to really get comfortable because I felt like he was very passive and he wasn't as confident on the ball. And when you think of Sancho, you think of someone who's very confident with the ball at his feet. And I did think that affected him for a while, but he's finally under he's in his groove and it's very nice to see. However, you know, Ronaldo, like 2 goals in his last 10 matches, just everything that's gone on with United recently with different outside situations and all of that, the coaching, everything. Like United's not winning this, they're not advancing, and it's tough. Like obviously I'm rooting for them, but I see no way that they beat Atletico.
And also I think for Ronaldo, I think it's important for people to start kind of changing their perception of what Ronaldo's role on the team that he's on like is supposed to be. Again, you know, from the past decade plus, we've seen him as he has to be the leading goal scorer. He has to be that guy that bangs in the goals. He's the star. He's all of that. And I think that he's more and more getting to a space. We know Ronaldo's in perfect like physical condition. He's mentally strong. He's now a veteran, you know, and maybe he's getting into the position where it's more about like his mental game and just the experience that he can bring on the team rather than directly scoring goals. I think that those functions should start being put more on the shoulders of the Sanchos and the Rashfords and you know those players and even the Bruno Fernandes. Like I just don't think that, you know, I think the world should start being okay with the fact that Messi and Ronaldo are just not gonna be the full-on super 30 plus goal a season players that they've been for years. And so I think that it's definitely like I'm looking at this United team like, yeah, can Ronaldo play better? Yes. Can he, you know, be a bit more clinical or just put away a lot of the chances? Yes, but at the end of the day, a lot more of the responsibility should go to those youngsters.
All I'm saying is it's time for them to come to MLS. We will welcome them with open arms as the ambassador of MLS. Come over here and you could be that superstar again. You know, if you want that, you could be on Jimmy Kimmel every Thursday, you know, come over here, you know?
Yes.
Emmett in the chat brought up that Atletico's also been struggling a little bit. They barely beat Getafe this weekend. Oh my God, did I butcher that name? Getafe? Is that the
Getafe? Yeah, Getafe.
They won 4-3.
Yeah,
They've won
to our Spanish listeners.
Yeah, they've won 2 of their last 6 matches in all comps. So that is a little risky, but I just, you know, just from a United perspective, I can't see them beat any of these teams. Like, honestly, they would lose to Salzburg right now. Like
they're the United of La Liga then right now, because it's kind of it's just the inconsistency and the shakiness. It basically summarizes United's season 2. So yeah, either way, who knows if that's a game that's gonna be, if they're both gonna be bad, but it's gonna be a high scoring game. I'm all for that too.
Yeah. So and then also we got Ajax Benfica. What are your thoughts on that one? I don't really have a pick here, but I think I go Ajax. I don't know.
I'm going Ajax. Ajax is that team where you can't necessarily root for them to, like, I wouldn't put my money on Ajax winning the Champions League, but just because of the history of the club, Obviously with the Johan Cruyff link and so many of those ballers that have come out of that team. Yeah, I'm always rooting for them to do well. Realistically, I don't see them without like a group of superstars that
Mhm.
just so happen to not be sold because they are a big selling club and they put a lot of their best players, they sell them. I just don't see them winning it. But against Benfica, I think Ajax are gonna do the job and yeah, across both legs, move on to the next round.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with them as well. I don't watch enough Portuguese league to really know like just how good Benfica's been, how good Sporting's been.
Yeah.
But just going off, history and I do watch a little bit of. I'm kind of a PSV guy, so
Hey,
so I watch Ajax a little bit. I watch the derby, and I think Ajax should make it out of this one.
for sure, for sure. Now, before we even this is one of the topics that I wanted to bring up. Outside of men's football, women's football.
Yes.
I first of all want to say that I am super super happy that um I'm super happy of the way that the game is switching, the direction that the game is taking. Because personally, and I'll say this, I'll put myself out, I'll be completely honest. I wasn't completely sold on women's football a while back, you know. But it was based on the ignorance that I never really watched it. So I
Mhm.
prejudged it based on, just I don't know, just the fact that I'm watching men's football. I never watched women's football, so it can't possibly be the same. And so when I started actually paying attention, when I've watched professional women players or watching women play in real life, yo, I swear to you, if you guys are ever in New York City and you go to Pier 5, Brooklyn Bridge Park, watch those independent league players, the Gothams, the NYC Footies. These women are ballers, bro. Ballers, ballers, ballers. And it's showing people are paying attention. People, both on the amateur and professional side, they are putting themselves out there. They are playing amazing football. They're doing their due diligence and putting, respect into the beautiful game. And so on the business side, it's showing too. Trinity
Mhm.
Rodman,
Oh,
one, the youngest player ever to be signed into NWSL, National Women's Soccer League team. Also, Dennis Rodman's daughter is also the highest paid ever player in NWSL history, $1.1 million for a 4-year deal. I'm super happy that, you know, I don't I don't know if the Dennis Rodman link is why, maybe in terms of the clout that she will be bringing into the league, maybe that has something to do with how much she's going to be getting paid. But they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're getting their of course, the more money you put into the game, the more money you put into anything, um the more likely that the output is going to be. So I'm happy that they're actually giving the women a chance because they absolutely deserve it.
no, definitely. And, like she is like the next big thing in US women's soccer. And, we're seeing kind of a
Yeah.
generation of women's national team stars kind of move on and they're looking for who's next up, next woman up. And I think Trinity Rodman can be that person. And it's great to see, 7 figures for a woman's player because I don't really know any examples of that. And if you break it down, that's 250K a year, and that's more than a lot of MLS players.
Yeah.
So it just shows you just like how much money is being invested. And as someone from Los Angeles, grew up in Los Angeles, I'm so excited that Angel City FC, the new NWSL team in LA, is kicking off
Yes,
this
sir.
year. So that's honestly gonna. I've always watched the women's national team, but and not really followed NWSL, but I think having Angel City FC is definitely going to be getting me into that the league and just women's soccer in general. And for me, I actually didn't watch women's soccer until around 2016,
Yeah.
when that big year for women's national team. But for me, what turned me to it was actually watching my high school women's soccer team play and
Yeah.
just, you know, They were awesome. They were really, really good. And it just kind of opened my mind more to that and accepting it. You know, I even sometimes I like women's basketball too now. Like I watch the Sparks on occasion.
Listen, I'm very happy that your high school team was good because mine sucked. I'm Midwood High School in Brooklyn. The girls team was absolutely atrocious, and I'm sorry. And I told them that too. Like, you please, it hurt me. It hurt me. I don't know, and maybe y'all could try to cancel me for that too, but I do not care. I'm gonna keep it real. They were so bad, and they contributed to why. You know what? Y'all contributed to why I had my thoughts on women's football, but I'm happy that I'm reformed now and I see the light. I see them for what they truly are, and I'm eternally grateful. But yeah, y'all completely made my views on women's soccer all twisted, man. But I'm glad that we got to talk about, you know, kind of what's going on in football right now. I'm glad that we touched on the women's game and that we actually have some positive news around it. And to that point, guys, we want to make sure that every time we end this show, that we leave you guys with something. We want to bring value to you guys and kind of also be a little more, you know what I'm saying? Just be a little more open and with our own experiences and help you guys in some way. So to end the show, I want to kind of, and you guys can do this at home, think about things that you guys are grateful for, and we will do the same. Think about things that you're truly grateful for in your life. It could be small, it could be big. I'll say that I'm truly grateful that we have the resources and, you know, the opportunities to even be able to sit here and have this discussion and talk. You know, a lot of times we get so caught up in going that we never have time to sit down and talk. I'm happy that me and my boy are here. We have this passion for this game and we get to sit down and talk about it and share our views, you know, with you guys, and you guys who are watching or listening. We're happy that you guys are joining us. I'm grateful for all of you. And it's going to be a great journey on the E2E show, man. Eli, what are you grateful for today?
Well, no, like going off exactly what you said, like if you told me 7 years ago when I was starting this week in MLS that this is where I would be at right now, I would be over the moon. I would not believe it, you know? And yeah. I'm so thankful that we have that. So thankful that we have Emmett to make sure that we sound good and look good. You know, this is just such an awesome opportunity. And yeah, while, you know, Elisha, I'm always here for you and I hope the same, but we also, anyone listening out there, even though whether you're drawn into the show because you follow me or drawn the show because you follow Elisha, I'm here for every one of you guys. DMs always open. I respond to everything. And, you know, I'm always here if anyone's having a bad day to talk about it. And I think, you know, that's something that we as the E2E show want to be. You know, we, of course, are here for our love of the game, but we're also here because we are human and that we are always looking to improve. And that's what drew me to Elisha in general in the first place, is because he's someone who's always trying to improve and get better at what he's doing. And I feel that same mentality because we're both still young and we're both trying to find our place in this world, in this community, in the soccer media world. And it's just great to have someone who's going through the same thing we are, but also, you know, we want to inspire other kids or younger people or even older. You know, you could start at any time, but just, you know, to follow your dreams, because I think Elisha and I are living proof of that right now. Even though we still have so much we want to accomplish, we also, like, what I'm thankful for is just everything that's led me to me sitting here, or to be sitting here with
the
you
journey
right now,
the journey. Absolutely, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. I'm happy that we're embarking on this. Again, I'm so grateful for you guys, and what better way to end the first episode of the E2E show with some positivity and just some good vibes, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into the first episode of the E2E show. Make sure on YouTube you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on our social medias, and also for more of the E2E show, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the E2E show. My name's Elisha.
I'm Eli, and we'll see you guys next Monday.
Peace.